Okay, strap in, folks. So, as some of you probably have already seen, the Jem and the Holograms trailer came out last night. I watched it last night. I just watched it again this morning to kind of refresh before I did this. And my every worst fear has come true with it. It looks awful. It looks so bad, even William Shatner knows something is up. Kimber posts a video of Jerrica singing without her knowledge. She becomes internet famous and gets signed to Starlight Records. So that's probably the only part of the trailer that doesn't bug me too much, because that's totally something I could see Kimber doing. But whatever. I knew it was going to be too good to be true. Juliette Lewis is not pizzazz. Juliette Lewis is playing Erica Raymond, which I guess is fine, making the character female, but the plot, as it's seeming to be right now, is pretty cliche. But I don't know if that bugs me that much in and of itself. The story can be cliche with the proper direction or tone or art direction and still be fun. The Josie and the Pussycats movie had a pretty similar plot arc, and I think that movie is excellent. But the difference, for me, the real difference is in the tone of this thing. The tone, as I suspected from that very first teaser poster, is kind of dour, honestly. It's trying to be an angsty coming-of-age story, which just does not fit Jem. Jem is fun and silly and campy, and I feel like you can change the plot specifics of a story as long as you maintain the tone. If you look at something like the Scott Pilgrim movie, the Scott Pilgrim movie omits a lot and changes a bunch of things in terms of the plot, partially because the comics were still being written when the movie was in production. But the tone is the same. The tone is what's important. It just doesn't look like a lot of fun. And what are you going to Jem and the Holograms for if you're not going to them for fun and girl power and fun songs? But I think the main thing that's really bugging me is, along with a lack of respect, which I've always felt from this particular creative team, it feels like there's a lack of effort in this, honestly. I've been reading a bunch of people's comments and things on it, and a lot of people's thoughts, and most people who are fans of the cartoon, like I am, agree and don't like it, but there are also a lot of people who have been saying you can't straight adapt Jem in the modern era without having to change things and without having it to be campy, and saying that it doesn't adapt. It's just not material that adapts as easily as other 80s nostalgia properties like, say, G.I. Joe. I don't think that's true. I think that you maybe would have to make some more cosmetic changes and make some more changes to bring it into the modern day. Obviously, you have to address the internet and social media and the way that people would have figured out who Jem really was, or would have tried to figure out who Jem really was. It's not something that couldn't have been overcome. It really isn't. It's really something that would have been that difficult to do. I don't get the sense that a single person working on the Jem and the Holograms movie gave a damn. Like, the lack of effort that is showing up is just appalling to me. Jem deserves so much better than this. I feel like I'm just ranting at this point because I'm so upset. I'm so disappointed. I'm really, really disappointed, because as I've been watching, I've known, like, this doesn't look like it's gonna be very good. I'm worried about this. But I've really been trying as hard as I can to hold out some level of hope that this movie was going to be okay. Like, okay, maybe it's not going to be the best movie in the world. Maybe there'll be some things from a Jem fan standpoint that'll bug me, but maybe it'll be okay. And maybe it'll be able to stand on its own as a film. I don't know if it can stand on its own as a film yet. I can't see it. But I think the thing that saddens me the most about this, you could change their names to Brittany, Tiffany, Chloe, and Sophia, and there would be nothing of Jem left. There would be nothing of Jem left. It's pure Hannah Montana identity crisis kind of stuff. And Jerrica did grapple with where's the line between me and Jem and all of that kind of stuff in the cartoon. She did, and it was a little different because it's not coming off as Jem and Jerrica being entirely separate personas in the same way. Like, in the cartoon, people have seen Jem and Jerrica in the same place. They would never expect that they're the same person. And obviously they've taken the Misfits out, they've taken Starlight Home out, first off, without Starlight Home being there, for me, you lose a lot of the stakes. In the cartoon, it's not just about them. It's not just about their egos. It's about, we run this company, and of course they love to do it, but they also have a lot of people depending on them and relying on them. And then without the Misfits, without having any kind of adversarial force, they had to find some conflict in the story. I understand that. Interpersonal conflict is a decent way to do that. So I get that that's why they're doing the whole lead singer pushes everyone in the band away and it's all about me thing. But I also don't feel like that's correct or in character. Now, members of the band have left before, and members of the band have had interpersonal conflicts before. Usually it's Kimber. Kimber is the one that's left the band the most. Kimber is the one that tends to push the most against everybody else because she feels like, because she's the youngest, people take her for granted. She does write a lot of the stuff and she feels like she doesn't get the same level of credit as Jem, and that frustrates her, and she, you know, sometimes she leaves the band, sometimes she'll kind of push against people. Shayna has left the band at one point, and even that, even though she left for not a conflict reason exactly, even that story had an interpersonal conflict because the holograms are trying to make it seem like she doesn't have to feel guilty if she wants to leave the band to go and be a fashion designer, but they're trying so hard to make it seem like they don't need her there that Shayna feels like, oh, maybe I wasn't important to them, maybe I didn't, and she's staying in this situation that she's not happy in, and she misses the band and misses her family, but she thinks they don't want her anymore. I think that is a much more layered and nuanced conflict from a cartoon from 30 years ago. I'm not saying that Jem is high art. Jem is fun, disposable, campy, 80s candy. But there's something in Jem that is kind of special. I feel like there's a reason that it's stuck around, you know? There's a wasteland of cartoons from the 80s that nobody remembers, but people really resonate with Jem. They really, really do. Still gonna keep following this, still gonna go see it, but I'm definitely not excited about it anymore. I was. At one point I was really excited about this, but this just looks... So what do you guys think? Are you guys as disappointed as me? Are you guys gonna look past it? Are you guys still gonna see it? Is it just me? Put your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to like and subscribe if you want to continue to watch me be upset about a movie based on a cartoon from 30 years ago. Alright, see you guys later!